State security clashing head-on with digital freedom.
A nationwide medical exam leaked. The government bans Telegram. 150 million users suddenly cut off. And now, the legal fight begins. Welcome to Zenith Global News. In today's Explainer, we're unpacking a massive, unprecedented collision between national security and your digital freedom.
Here's tonight's briefing. We'll look at the NEET exam leak crisis, how Telegram is challenging the ban, what tech experts are saying about platform blocking, and finally, the broader digital sovereignty debate.
Part 1, the NEET exam leak crisis.
So the escalation here was incredibly rapid. After the medical entrance exam was compromised back in May, massive paper leak allegations essentially forced a cancellation in June. By July, we saw nationwide protests, which ultimately culminated in an unprecedented move, a government ban on Telegram.
Right now, the Central Bureau of Investigation is leading a massive probe into the leak. They've already arrested more than a dozen individuals as authorities are scrambling to dismantle these organized cheating rackets.
Now, the government's mandate is pretty clear, right? They absolutely must protect the integrity of the nation's medical exams. But executing that mandate through a sweeping app ban, that's actively disrupting the daily digital lives of an estimated 150 million users. It's a massive practical impact.
Which brings us to part 2. Telegram challenges the ban.
To put this into perspective, Telegram boasts over 150 million active users in India. We're not just talking about casual chats. This is vital communication infrastructure that people rely on for legitimate personal, educational, and professional purposes every single day. And Telegram's legal team and leadership are pushing back. CEO Pavel Durov directly criticized the move, outright stating that banning the app, even temporarily, is a mistake. His core argument: blunt bans essentially punish innocent citizens, while the actual culprits just migrate to other apps anyway.
Now, Telegram claims they are taking proactive steps. They've recently removed hundreds of leak channels and updated their interface to make edited labels far more prominent, which is aimed at preventing these backdating scams.
But on the ground, the fallout is severe. Millions of students have suddenly lost access to completely free, legitimate study materials. Politically, the opposition is demanding the education minister's resignation. And logistically, Sunday's retest now requires Air Force helicopters just to securely transport the examination papers. It's really quite extreme.
Moving on to part 3. Tech experts weigh in.
Tech analysts are highly critical of this approach. Nikhil Pahwa, for example, points out the massive collateral damage to the digital economy. He really highlights the severity of the state's response, noting, now, for exams, you're blocking a messaging platform nationwide.
He also poses a rhetorical but critical policy question. The exact same activity can easily happen on WhatsApp or Discord, so will the government block those next? It really highlights the logical flaw here, banning the medium entirely, rather than doing the hard work of tracking the actual perpetrators.
So it really boils down to this: sweeping nationwide app bans versus root cause investigation. Many students and experts are simply demanding that authorities stop censoring digital tools and instead focus entirely on identifying the specific individuals responsible for leaking the papers. This brings us to part 4, the digital sovereignty debate. You see, this restriction legally falls under a specific provision of India's IT law. It essentially grants the government the power to block online platforms in the interests of the country's sovereignty and integrity. It is a remarkably powerful tool, strictly designed for state security.
But here's why this is setting off alarm bells globally. This is literally the first time this national sovereignty provision has ever been used in India, specifically to combat domestic examination fraud. It's totally unprecedented.
And this creates 3 major points of friction. First, you have borderless global platforms clashing with strict state borders. Second, legitimate educational use is being caught in the crossfire of organized cheating rackets. And third, we are looking at the establishment of massive new global precedents for how governments might regulate the internet during what are essentially domestic crises.
So what does this all mean for the future? It leaves us with a highly provocative policy question. Does defending digital sovereignty actually justify disconnecting millions of everyday users? It's a friction point that will absolutely define the future balance of state control and digital freedom on a global scale.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Stay informed, stay aware, stay ahead, only on Zenith Global News.